This is way more than I expected.
Is it always a bit of a surprise when you walk out at these sort of things?
Yeah, and I had no anticipation as to how large the room was going to be.
That's a pretty big room.
How is everyone doing?
Woo!
Great. Has it been a good fan expo for everyone?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good way to end it. Now, we actually met very briefly on the red carpet for The Hobbit, the first film, about 2 years ago in New York City.
Yep, 2 years.
You were just going in to see the film.
Yeah.
So I know you're going to get a lot of questions about your time working on Lord of the Rings, but I just wanted to know out of curiosity, what was your reaction to the 2 Hobbit films? Have you had a chance to see them?
I have, yeah, I've seen them.
Have you seen the third one?
I've not seen the third one.
Okay, trying for spoilers.
There was a screening in Wellington, because you know they're almost finished with the third one.
Yeah.
So a movie exists, but I've not seen it. But I love them, they're great. I mean, the treat for me is that I get to watch those movies with a perspective I didn't get to have on Lord of the Rings, which I get to watch them as a fan. So it's really fun for me. And it was amazing to get a chance to go back. I never thought I'd go back to Middle-earth. I never thought I'd play Frodo again. It kind of felt like a family reunion in a way, so it was sort of a gift. It was great.
I wanted to ask you, before we go to the audience questions, being a gamer geek myself and knowing that you're a part of Red vs. Blue, are you a gamer as well?
I am. Yeah, I am. Truth be told, the whole Red vs. Blue thing happened because Bernie Burns, who started that whole thing, and Rooster Teeth and all that, it's an Austin-based company. I partly live in Austin. I have a lot of friends in Austin. So I have a lot of friends that are friends with those folks. But I wasn't necessarily a fan. Like, I didn't watch that show.
Right.
I played Halo up until Halo 2, and I stopped playing, truthfully. But it's an awesome thing, and it was really fun to do a voice, and to play a villain was cool. But I still haven't seen it. I still haven't seen it. Apparently it's cool, I don't know.
Are you still gaming at all? Or?
Yeah, my game.
What are you playing?
I haven't played in a while, but the last thing I was playing was The Last of Us, which is just such an extraordinary achievement. I feel like games are starting to go the way of films. You know, they're really becoming quite immersive in terms of their storytelling. So I love the direction that it's taking, and those typically are the kind of games that I get myself into. And GTA 5 was fucking awesome.
Yes, it was.
It's really great.
And before we go to the crowd, you know, why do you enjoy coming to conventions like this? This isn't your first time at Fan Expo.
No.
You know, what's the highlight for you?
Honestly, the highlight is to meet y'all. It's really fun to have, you know, interactions with all of you. It's a joy. It's like the one kind of place that you can go to have a concentrated experience where you get to meet a lot of people very quickly, and I really enjoy that.
Is it just me, or is his mic cutting out a little bit?
It is sort of. It's
do you want to switch in case?
It's very banged up. It's as if someone was like pushing the shit out of it. A used mic.
Here, we'll switch mics, and that way I won't talk as much.
Great. Already so much better.
All right, let's go to the floor for some questions. We'll start on this side.
Hi, Elijah.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
Mic on.
Thank you.
Are you dressed up as Aragorn?
Yup.
Yep.
And we've got Boromir here, and Legolas.
Oh my
you
god,
know.
guys. Good costumes.
Thank you. We were wondering, how do you feel about people who cosplay Frodo Baggins?
I think it's awesome. It's so weird. But it's really incredible. I mean, the thing about being a part of something like Lord of the Rings is, you know, we all collectively who were a part of making the films had our own experience making them, and that is its own thing, right? And that is the only experience that I will ever know. But then the movies come out, and they get embraced by the world, and you can never anticipate how that goes. And we knew the films would be successful, but by no means did we understand that they would reach the sort of pop culture heights that they've become. And the extension of that is that people dress up like the characters, or write weird fan fiction, or, you know, it has all of, the tree just has all of these different roots, and that is so much fun, you know, it takes on a life of its own, and I kind of love it. It's great. And it's great to see people have enthusiasm for this thing that you were a part of. And there's a fucking Lego of Frodo. Come on, dude. I mean, like, you know, never in my life did I think that I would be a Lego figure. So every aspect of it is just, you know, it's a gift. It's awesome.
Thanks for your question. We'll go over to this side in the dark.
Oh,
Over there.
hello, Lion.
Hello. I'm an expat Kiwi, and I was wondering how you liked living in New Zealand and what your favorite Kiwi food was.
Where are you from in New Zealand?
Auckland.
Auckland, lovely. I was just in Auckland briefly. I love New Zealand. I love it so much. It feels like home still. Every time I fly into Auckland, I've flown there so many times. Even I feel like going through immigration there's this sort of, oh hey, welcome back. What are you doing back in our country? It's like, all right, where's my passport, dude? I adore it. It totally feels like home, especially Wellington. We were based in Wellington for the duration of the films, and that's where Stone Street Studios were. And, in terms of Kiwi food, I mean, I'm real partial to lamb, although whilst shooting there, because we were there for 16 months and really 4 years of photography, I got real fucking sick of lamb. Like, because it was kind of every day, you know? There would be like chicken and lamb on set. Like, oh my God, and how many times can we eat lamb? So actually, I took myself off lamb for a number of years because I just, like the flavor, I couldn't handle it anymore. I just had it so much. I got sick of it, which is such a bummer because I love lamb so much. But I finally came back around. Kiwis also have a really interesting thing. Two really bizarre, very Kiwi dishes. One is a pizza with chicken and cranberry. Is that what it is? Or it's, yeah, chicken and cranberry and brie on a pizza. Real common New Zealand thing. And a burger with beetroot. They love that. They also love that in Australia too, but they love beetroot on, yeah, Aussies. Yeah.
Sounds delicious. Over here.
Hi, Mr. Wood. I'm a big fan of yours. Love Lord of the Rings. It really changed my life, and it got me into LARPing, honestly, and I want to thank you for that.
Oh, awesome.
I would like to know, are you a fan of anime, and if so, is there one anime in particular that you just love to death? Like, you could just want to see a movie, or just like, you just love to death?
I like anime. I've only ever really dipped my toes in, to be honest. So there's a lot, it's a vast world that I don't know that well. Outside of sort of staple films, Ghost in the Shell, Akira, that kind of thing. The Miyazaki films. One thing that I love that I guess only real deep anime people know is, do you know Gunsmith Cats? Yeah. Gunsmith Cats? Like these two chicks that kick so much ass. I love Gunsmith Cats. But another thing I really want to get into is manga comics, and Nacho Vigalondo, who's a dear friend of mine, is a Spanish filmmaker. He's really into comics in general, and there's a bunch of mangas that he really loved that he's given me a couple of different things to check out, so. I have my homework set out for me.
Did you want to give him a recommendation of
Yeah, do you
something?
have a recommendation?
One Piece.
What?
Inuyasha.
Inuyasha.
Yeah.
I've heard of Inuyasha.
Oh, Inuyasha, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome, thanks man.
Thank you.
Thanks, and we'll go back over to this side.
Hi, Elijah.
Hi.
I was just wondering, out of all the celebrities at Fan Expo this year, what celebrity would you stay in line for? And who did you want to see the most out of this Fan Expo year?
Well, I just saw that Bruce Campbell was here, and that got me really excited. I was like walking down here to visit with you all, and then I was like, well, fuck me, Bruce Campbell. I love Bruce Campbell. So that was exciting. I also met the twins, Louise and Lisa, from The Shining, and that was very exciting. And I met Heather Langenkamp from Nightmare on Elm Street. You all know who that is? Yes, you do. And if you don't, you need to see Nightmare on Elm Street. So yeah, those were highlights. Thank you.
We'll go back over to our left.
I love this. It's like really long tennis. Like a sprinkler. Anyway, sorry.
Hey Elijah.
Hey.
Now that you've worked long-term in both TV and movies, I was wondering which one you prefer working in and which you see your career heading towards.
Oh. I don't know if I don't look that far ahead. Maybe it's to my detriment. I don't know if I prefer one over the other. I think they're both the approach is relatively similar. The real difference with television is that the pace is a lot faster. And it's long-form storytelling, so you're working on a character over the course of, in the case of Wilfred, 4 years. And I found that so gratifying and so enjoyable. And the idea of, prior to that, I'd never known what job security was. It was always film to film, so this notion of working on something yearly with the same creative team was a really exciting thing. It was very different, and also the sort of immediacy of television was something I wasn't used to. Shooting something for 3 months, and then at the end of the run, it's suddenly on TV and in people's living rooms was a really interesting feeling. I wasn't used to that. Used to something kind of coming out, having a life, and then going away. So I really enjoyed that. But creatively, they're relatively similar, I don't know that I prefer one over the other.
Maybe this is self-indulgent considering that I host a TV show, but would you say that the quality of TV in general has increased in recent years? It seems that way to me.
Unquestionably. Unquestionably. I sort of feel like we're in a golden age of certainly cable television. It's really exciting. It worries me a little in the sense that there seems to be more and more avenues for which one can watch shows. So it used to be that there were, 4 or 5 major cable networks that were producing television shows, and now there's Netflix and Amazon, and it's so oversaturated, and that worries me that it's going to be difficult. It's already difficult to try and watch everything, and I myself as a viewer, I've never watched so much TV in my life, and I find it hard for me to keep up. So it's interesting, but at the same time, I think that some of the best television shows are being created now, and they're starting to feel like movies. I mean, I don't know if anyone saw True Detective, but it's just extraordinary, and I was a fan of what they did with The Killing. I think the Fargo show was really interesting. Yeah, it's an exciting time, and there are some incredible writers and directors from film coming into the TV space, and some wonderful actors, so yeah, it's exciting. Game of Thrones, fun. I mean, Game of Thrones is one of the greatest things ever created for TV. It's honestly, like, when that season comes to an end, you're just like, fuck, man. Can I wait another year for this? It's so good.
Would you want to be on Game of Thrones, or would you love it?
I'd love to. I got to visit. I was in Belfast playing records, and while I was there, I was like, oh fuck. While I was landing in Belfast, because I knew it was filmed in Belfast, I was like humming the Game of Thrones theme to myself like a nerd. Literally, if you were sitting next to me, you would have heard it. It's retarded. So I was landing, I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool. And I was there with my friend Zach, who I DJ with, and I was like, dude, they filmed Game of Thrones here. And I don't think he'd seen the show. We got to go to the set. So we went to the set, and I got to sit in the Iron Throne, which was amazing. And they actually asked if I would DJ their rap party, and I couldn't do it. I was busy doing something else and I couldn't make it. So I'm hoping that offer sort of is sitting in the ether somewhere, that I can just be like, hey, I'll totally do it now. But they were great, and the creators were really lovely. It's awesome, yeah.
Well, let's go back over to the floor.
Hi, I'm just going to ask the same question I asked to Stan Lee. What are some of your favorite things? Like, do you collect anything, or do you have anything nerdy on your desk? Like, what are the things that make you happy, that you keep around?
Yeah, well, I buy a lot of records. I'm a real music enthusiast, and I'm a record collector, so that is what I spend a lot of my time researching and digging for. But I also, I have a relatively sizable Mondo poster collection. Does anybody know Mondo? Yeah? They're amazing. And I need to get a flat file for all of them because I've got a pretty significant collection. What else? I mean, I used to collect action figures. I was kind of a real nerd for that. Initially, it started with Star Wars toys, and it was re-enlivened when they brought out the Power of the Force collection prior to the prequels. And we all know what happened when the prequels came out. They fucked us. Because they released too many goddamn toys. It was such a bummer. I remember I went to go see I was lucky enough to go see episode 1 at the ranch, which was really great. And Seth Green was there, and Brandon and blah, blah, blah. we were talking, and he was also a collector of the toys and got so excited, and it was like opening night of, you know, it was like at midnight at Toys R Us or whatever, they were gonna be selling the new line. And he got the new line, and he was just like, nope, it's done, it's over, it's too much, like there's just too many toys. It kind of killed our dreams. So I sort of stopped collecting toys a little bit, but I was really into the McFarlane, like, Movie Maniac series. I really love what NECA's doing now. Sideshow toys, I think, are incredible. I kind of got myself out of that world because it's a little overwhelming, but at Comic-Con this last year, I think it was in the Sideshow booth, they're coming out with a 1/3 replica of the DeLorean. I don't know if anyone's seen it. It's really amazing. And it has a working flux capacitor. Come on. It's so great. It's gonna be way too much money, but it's so awesome. So I can feel the fucking, like, gravitational pull back to that world. Yeah. I'm a nerd, you know. I have all sorts of shit.
We're all nerds. You're
Yes, I'm in the same company. Go over there. It's like, nice.
Hi, Elijah. Sorry, I'm sort of nervous. If the opportunity ever arose, would you be willing to go to an event with Daniel Radcliffe and dress as each other's characters?
Oh, that'd be really funny. So, if Daniel Radcliffe dressed as Frodo? Yes. That would be really hilarious. Just for, like, it happened in the world. Maybe, like, something would collapse, I feel. Like gravity would turn in on itself or something. It's so funny, there's a film festival I go to in Austin, Texas called Fantastic Fest, which is one of the greatest weeks of the year. And they have this thing called the Fantastic Debates. And it's the basic setup is that they have two people debating a topic. Oftentimes it's comical. And then it ends in a real live boxing match. For real. I did it once. It was a stupid topic. They wanted me to do it, and I was like, yeah, I'm on board. And I did it with Dominic Monaghan, and I had like a couple of weeks to think about, like, what could we debate? But we kind of agree on those things for the most part. So I was like, fuck, man. And I really was grasping at straws, and I debated the merits of World of Warcraft. Because I don't like World of Warcraft. I'm so sorry if that's disappointing to you. But he does, and I find it so fucking weird that he does. Because this guy was never a gamer, and then we met, and I'm a console gamer, and he still called them computer games, even though we were playing a PlayStation. But then he got really into it, and he started playing mainly sports games, right? So that was his, like, way in, because he knew FIFA, and he's a big football fan. So I was like, cool. And he got really into it. And then GTA and that sort of stuff, he'd dabble. And then all the fucking sudden, he's, like, working as, you know, as, like, he's, like, learning like a trade in World of Warcraft and getting nerdy about it. And I'm like, who are you? So we debated that, and it didn't go that well. I think he actually beat me in the debate, and he kicked my ass on top of it. This is all to say, there was they wanted me, because I'm really good friends with the folks at Fantastic Fest, they were like, wouldn't it be great if you and Daniel Radcliffe had a debate? And I was like, yeah, it would. Like, you know, objectively, if I stand back from that, I'm like, yeah, that's a pretty fucking funny thing. But I don't want to fight him. I don't want to fight him, and I don't really think there's anything to debate. What's the debate? Frodo's better than Harry Potter? Like, no. I'm not going to debate that. I don't know.
Have you had any interactions with
him?
him?
It's a useless story. It didn't go anywhere.
Have you met him and spent any time with him?
I have met him. I've met him, but a long time ago. I met him I'm pretty sure the last time I met him was on the set of Part 3, the one that Alfonso Cuarón directed. But other than that, I've not, no. But I think he apparently gets mistaken for me, too. So it's weird. I was in an elevator once at a hotel, and you know that thing, it's kind of awkward if it's just you and one other person you don't know in an elevator? You're both kind of standing there, and you kind of want to make it look like you're doing something else, or you pull out your phone. Nowadays, we have our phone, which is just like our protective against anything else. At the time, I didn't have a cell phone, I don't think. So I was just standing there like, okay. And then I could just see out of the corner of my eye, this person was staring at me, and I was like, he's totally getting up the courage to say something, you know? and waited for like 6 floors. And I could just I could feel it. He's gonna say something, he's gonna say something. Right before the door opens, he says, "Harry Potter." And I said, "No." The door opened and I left.
All right, let's go over there. Team Loki, from the looks of things.
Hi.
Hi.
I know I mentioned this to you yesterday when I got the autograph, but I wanted to get a little bit more detail about it. One of my favorite movies of yours is The Good Son, and I was wondering how it was. I was wondering how it was being on a set as a child actor doing something with that heavy of a material.
So what was it like being on set, and what was it like working with that kind of heavier material? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like as a kid.
Yeah. Well, I think I was 11 or 12, I think, when I did that film. Yeah, I guess it was the first time that I'd worked on anything that was dark. And I was excited about it, you know. I'd seen horror movies when I was young, and the darkness of the material was kind of exciting for me, because I'd only, as an actor at that point, really worked on movies that were not necessarily made for kids, but were certainly kid-friendly and sort of family-oriented films. So I really enjoyed it. And I think probably from my mom's perspective, she was happy that I was not the evil person in the movie. I think she liked that I was the good character. But I loved working on it, and I loved working on something that was a little bit dark and disturbing, and I thought what Macaulay was doing was creepy. Yeah, I have very fond memories of working on the film. It was great. There was a particular scene in the movie that was pretty scary and really fun, but very frightening at the same time. There's a scene at the end of the movie where the two of us are hanging off of a cliff. And we literally were hanging off of a cliff over Lake Superior. In like -5-degree weather it was near Duluth, Minnesota, which is really cold. I'm sure you guys know cold, it's Canada, but I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. But we were hanging, and the conceit of that moment is that she's losing her grip, and every time she would lose her grip, the stuntman would like let the line go. Oh man. And it was awesome, but it was really scary. And the funny thing is they told the parents, which was true, but they were like, there are safety boats down below. But the reality of that was, they were down below and like, 100 to 200 feet out that way. Because right below us were rocks. So, it sounded good, but from my vantage point, there were no boats.
All right, we'll go over there.
Hi, Elijah.
Hey.
I am going to ask you another New Zealand question because I'm a total Kiwifile.
Oh, you're a Kiwifile?
Yeah, it's
That's
like
a new one.
Anglophile, but for New Zealand.
Yeah, totally.
So a lot of us probably want to go to New Zealand. What is the one place you would recommend? Like, what's your favorite place in New Zealand?
Oh, there's so much you shouldn't miss. I would say if Queenstown should be a primary destination, because there's so much around Queenstown. Queenstown itself is beautiful, both in the summer and the winter. It's surrounded by mountains, so in the wintertime you can ski and snowboard, and it's just beautiful during the summer. And the surrounding areas are just so picturesque and beautiful. I wouldn't miss Wellington. That's a personal bias, but I love Wellington. It's just a charming town, and it sort of feels like home. And if you're going there on a sort of Lord of the Rings pilgrimage, I would say, truthfully, you don't want to miss Hobbiton, because it's actually amazing. I realize that it's sort of like a very touristic thing to do, but they, I don't know if you know this, but after we made the Lord of the Rings, we shot in that same location, but the way that they built the exteriors of the Hobbit holes, they didn't make them with any sustainable materials, so it was all with polystyrene, so it was all taken down. When we were finished with the film, they took everything down, and what remained were these sort of like fragments of these holes. So a lot of like they would bring tours in there, but they weren't really seeing Hobbiton. Like it was sort of, this is where Hobbiton was. But after The Hobbit, they built it all with sustainable materials and left it there. So when you go now, like there's smoke coming out of the chimneys, the gardens are tended, and it's exactly as it is in the film. And that's awesome. Like it's actually magical for me to see it. It's really cool. It's like a real place that you can go to. And the Green Dragon is a functional bar restaurant now, so you can like go to the Green Dragon and have a pint and eat Hobbit food. It's pretty cool. I will say this though, it's a little expensive. It's like $75 a person.
What?
I know, man. This shit ain't cheap, and it's like, guys, it's already expensive to get to New Zealand. Give them a break, man. But it's worth it.
We got time for just a couple more questions, so we'll go back over here.
Hi, I'm from New Zealand and I actually lived in Hobbiton. My question for you is, were you ever able to walk down the street without people realizing who you were there?
Have I ever walked down the street in New Zealand without people realizing who I was?
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably. I think. I never really think about that kind of thing, to be honest. I just sort of go where I go and I don't really, like, it doesn't enter my mind so much. Unless I'm coming to a place like this, where you all are. But I don't often think about it, so I suppose I could walk down the street and no one says anything and I don't think anything of it, so then yes. But it really changed. It's funny, because we were living in New Zealand for so long making the films, and whilst we were there making them, we didn't get a lot of attention from locals, because we were treated like locals. We were there for so long, we knew everybody in town and at all these businesses, bars, restaurants, so on and so forth. We were effectively a part of the fabric of the community, quite literally. But what was funny is going back after the movies came out, that all changed. Like the movies came out and suddenly they were like, oh, it's you, and it's like, yeah, but I was here! Like, what's the difference?
Go back over here.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
I know you started, you were in The Good Son.
Yeah.
But how did you start out acting? Like your acting career?
It started when I was, well, 7, 8 years old. 7, really, I suppose. Went out to Los Angeles. I'm from Iowa. I was born in Iowa. Went out to Los Angeles for what then was like a modeling and talent convention. And my brother and my mom and I went. My brother's 7 years older than me, and he was actually more active in like school plays and musicals and things. So I had kind of a more vested interest. But I went to this convention, and there were talent managers and agents, and this one man pulled me aside and he was like, would you like to become an actor? And I was like, yeah. It sounded fun. I didn't have that much, you know, pre-existing interest, but it sounded fun, and I think part of it was that I just liked people, and the idea of performing was exciting, and California was exciting. It was all very exciting. So we moved the family out to Iowa, from Iowa, for just my mom, my brother, and I, just to sort of see, you know, like I got an agent and started auditioning for commercials, thinking that would kind of only be it, that I would just do commercials for fun, and it sort of moved away from that relatively quickly. The first thing I did was a Paula Abdul music video for Forever Your Girl, that I later found out was directed by, oh God, now I'm gonna forget his name. It was David, wait, who directed Seven? Why am I forgetting that? Thank you, David Fincher, thank you. So before David Fincher made movies, he did music videos and commercials. Michael Bay did the same. They all came up as like music video / commercial directors. Anyway, silly fact. But yeah, then I started doing, the very first role I had in the film was a movie called, oh, you know, Back to the Future 2. And it blew my mind as a child because I grew up watching the original. So the fact that I was on that set in the future, and oh man, it was a mind bender. It was amazing. And then yeah, shortly after that, I kind of kept working in films. So that's the truncated version of how it all started. Hello.
Hi,
Hi.
Hi.
I have sort of a weird question.
Oh, I love weird questions.
Well, this will be one. Can you explain the Bunny Museum video? It's kind of surreal. Don't really know what's going on. It seems.
Oh, can I
kind of
explain the
controversial.
Bunny Museum commercial?
Yeah, is it what it is? It's kind of just like this mysterious.
It kind of is what it is, but I will explain it. Yeah.
Yeah, how did it
Has
like,
anyone
come
seen
about?
this? Has anyone seen the Bunny Museum commercial? Okay, you should actually look at it because it's really weird. The Bunny Museum is a real place in Pasadena. It is the world's largest private collection of bunnies. Go to the website, it'll tell you all about it. And a friend of mine, who's my producing partner, this guy called Josh Waller, was preparing for a screening of a project that he did with his brother, and he wanted his friends to make commercials or ads or little mini shorts to sort of add to the program for this screening. And he wanted me to direct one, which I didn't end up doing, but he was like, I've got this idea. He's like, check out this website, it's gonna blow your mind. And I go to this website, and it's for the Bunny Museum. And there's all sorts of interesting things, one of which is a list of clues that you can give your friends to surprise them about taking them to the Bunny Museum. And let me tell you, these clues barely relate to the museum. Clues like terrific. How the fuck does that relate to the Bunny Museum? Magical, so on and so forth. So he was like, we need to shoot a commercial for this museum. And by the way, the folks that run the museum, it's a couple. The way this whole thing started is it was Valentine's Day, and the husband gave to the wife a bunny rather than what you typically give at Valentine's Day. And it then set off their life's obsession. They have live bunnies, as well as every derivation of bunny you can possibly imagine, and cats. And they also freeze dry their bunnies when they die. And they had a couple in the freezer awaiting freeze drying while we were there. So we shot 3 versions of a commercial, one of which actually employs the clues that you can tell your friends to surprise them. Do check it out. I'm really proud of it. And when I got there, I had this weird little sweater that I wore, and I got there and I was like, oh, I think I need to have weird facial hair for this. And I shaved, I didn't have a razor, and I asked the woman, it was actually the husband because the wife was away, so I haven't met her yet, but the husband, I said, do you happen to have any shaving implements in your bathroom that are clean? And he had some unused razors. I was like, great. So it was like a 2-razor, and it was really shitty. So I like rudimentarily shaved most of my face off and then left just a little bit of a mustache. Oh man. Fond memories.
We have time for one more, and we'll go over here.
Hello.
Hi.
It's been on my bucket list to meet a Hobbit, so thank you.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. Pleasure's really all mine. I was wondering, how is it different preparing for a voice role like Red vs. Blue or Happy Feet compared to a live-action role like Flipper or Back to the Future 2?
It's different in the sense that you're not at all thinking about yourself physically or visually, you know? So much of what goes into playing a character is what you're going to do in a physical space and how you'll behave physically, and also how you'll look. Wardrobe plays a large part of that. So all of that is removed from the process when thinking about a character when it's just the voice. Beyond that, I think it's relatively similar. Understanding who the character is, how the character speaks. You know, in some ways you have a little bit more of a challenge to convey so much that you can't do physically. So, you know, as an actor, sometimes you can convey a lot without saying anything. As an animated character playing, you know, using your voice, you have to convey a lot more vocally than you normally would have to. So it's a funny little, the scales are sort of tipped in different directions for different qualities. but I love it. I mean, I love animation, so it's fun for me and gratifying for me to play a character and then see it come to life. There's a new mini-series that I just did called Over the Garden Wall that's going to be on Cartoon Network that I'm really excited about. One of the creative directors from Adventure Time created it. And by the way, I'm real late to the party, y'all, but I just started watching Adventure Time. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's one of the greatest things. Like, I thought, because so many friends love the show, and I've been hearing about it so much, and it kind of hit like a fever pitch because I kept hearing about it, kept hearing about it, and then I was doing a voice for this video game called Broken Age. If y'all haven't played that, it's great. And the creator of Adventure Time was at the recording studio, so I'm like, okay, this is a sign. I need to finally see this. So I sat down and found it on Netflix and just watched 6 episodes in a row. And I was like, man, I thought I was going to be disappointed, because sometimes if you have anticipation for something, like the build-up, you're like, oh, what's all the fuss about? Fuck. It's so great, and it's so weird, and I can't believe it's made for kids. It's just, there's so many subtle things in there that are, it's like being stoned. It really is. It's like being on some kind of hallucinogenic drug. It's just great.
Well, it was great sharing the stage.
Thank you.
Is there anything you want to say to the crowd before we depart?
Guys, I wish we had more time together. I really enjoy this. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. That's always the question I ask myself at the end of these things. I think, fuck, I did a lot of talking. I really hope it was as entertaining for them. Thanks, guys.